Espresso. The foundation of most coffee drinks worldwide is espresso, a strong coffee obtained by forcing hot water through finely ground beans under high pressure. The result is a dense shot with a golden crema on top. The word comes from Italian and means pressed out. The quality of espresso depends on the grind, water temperature, pressure, and the barista's skill. Ristretto. Ristretto is a shortened version of espresso, the same amount of coffee but half the water. The word translates to restricted. The flavor is more concentrated and slightly sweeter because the water doesn't have time to extract the later bitter compounds. It is precisely ristretto that baristas often use as a base for other drinks and competitions. Lungo. Lungo is the opposite of ristretto. Twice as much water is passed through the same coffee dose. The name translates to long. The drink is larger in volume but more bitter. Historically, in Southern Europe, lungo was considered a way to stretch expensive beans over more cups. Latte. Latte is made from a shot of espresso with a large amount of steamed milk and a thin layer of foam on top. The milk softens the bitterness, making the drink smoother, which has made latte one of the most popular in the world. The name comes from the Italian cafe latte, coffee with milk. The ratio is usually 1 to 3 or 4. Latte art emerged from the specialty coffee movement in Seattle in the 1980s. Cappuccino. Cappuccino consists of equal parts espresso, milk, and foam. The name is associated with Capuchin monks. The brown color of their robes supposedly match the color of the drink. In Italy, this is a morning beverage. It's believed that milk interferes with digestion later in the day. There are versions with cream, plant-based milk, and cocoa on top. Americano. Americano is espresso diluted with hot water. It tastes similar to filter coffee, but with a different character. Legend has it that it was invented by American soldiers in Italy during World War II who found regular espresso too strong. The drink retains the flavor of espresso, but becomes lighter. Flat white. Flat white is espresso with steamed milk, similar to a latte, but smaller, stronger, and almost without foam. It originated in Australia or New Zealand in the 1980s. The milk is heated to a velvet texture with almost no foam, hence flat in the name. The drink went mainstream when Starbucks added it to the menu in 2015. Macchiato. Macchiato is espresso with a spot of steamed milk on top, literally stained or spotted. Initially, a drop of milk was added so that waiters could distinguish this drink from pure espresso when serving. The caramel macchiato from large chains is a completely different drink, closer to a latte than to the traditional Italian original. Cortado. Cortado, known in the US as a Gibraltar, is espresso with just enough milk to smooth out the acidity. The ratio is usually 1 to 1. The name Gibraltar comes from the Libby Gibraltar glass, which became popular at the Blue Bottle Coffee House in San Francisco in the early 2000s. It occupies a middle ground between espresso and latte. Mocha. Mocha is a latte with the addition of chocolate syrup or cocoa mixed with the espresso before the milk. The name comes from the port city of Mocha in Yemen, a coffee trading hub whose beans were famous for their natural chocolate undertones. Later, the Dutch took coffee plants from Yemen to Java, creating the first commercial blend, Mocha Java. Affogato. Affogato is an Italian dessert, a scoop of vanilla ice cream drowned in a hot shot of espresso. The word means drowned, describing the ice cream melting in the coffee. It is usually served in Italy after a meal. Modern versions use chocolate or nut ice cream and sometimes a dash of liqueur like amaretto. Turkish coffee. One of the oldest brewing methods, very finely ground coffee, is simmered directly in a ksezva, ibrik, with water and often sugar without filtration. The grounds settle at the bottom and you drink without reaching them. The method originated in the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century, and Istanbul's coffee houses were among the first in the world. The patterns in the grounds are still used for fortune-telling. Vietnamese Egg Coffee, invented in Hanoi in 1946 when fresh milk was scarce. A barman at the Sofitel Metropole Hotel, Nguyen Van Giang, began whipping egg yolks with sugar and condensed milk instead of scarce cream and placed the mixture on top of strong coffee. The drink resembles custard and is called liquid tiramisu. Jiang opened his own cafe, which his family still runs. Scandinavian Egg Coffee, a completely different egg coffee, a tradition of Sweden, Norway, and Scandinavian communities in the American Midwest from the 19th century. A raw egg, sometimes with the shell, is mixed with dry grounds before brewing. The protein binds the bitter oils and rises as a curd on top, leaving a clean, mild flavor, almost without bitterness. Cold brew. Cold brew is steeped in cold water for 12 to 24 hours. Without heat, fewer bitter and acidic compounds are extracted, making it smoother and sweeter even without sugar. This is not the same as iced coffee, simply hot coffee poured over ice. Cold brew gained commercial popularity in the US around 2015 and can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. Nitro cold brew. Regular cold brew infused with nitrogen and served from a tap like beer. Nitrogen bubbles are smaller than carbon dioxide bubbles, creating a thick, creamy texture and foam without milk. Starbucks launched the drink in 2016. Because of the nitrogen, it seems sweeter than regular cold brew, even with nothing added, and it's served without ice so it doesn't dilute. Ethiopian Buna. Ethiopia is considered the birthplace of coffee. Legend traces traces its discovery to a goat herder named Kaldi, whose goats were energized by berries from a certain tree. The Buna ceremony involves roasting beans over an open flame, hand grinding, and brewing in a clay jabina. Coffee is served in 3 rounds of decreasing strength: a bowl for pleasure, tona for reflection, and baraka, blessing for good luck. The ceremony can last up to 2 hours. Cuban coffee. Café Cubano is a small, very sweet shot of espresso from Cuba. It's distinguished by a thick, sweet foam called espuma on top, which is whipped from the first drops of espresso with sugar until it forms a creamy paste. Then the rest of the shot is poured in. Sugar is incorporated from the very beginning. It's especially popular in Little Havana in Miami. Greek frappé, a cold, frothy coffee made from instant coffee, water, and sometimes sugar, whipped into a thick foam and poured over ice. It was invented by accident in 1957 in Thessaloniki when a Nescafe representative, Dimitris Vakondios, couldn't find hot water and mixed the coffee with cold water in a shaker. It quickly became the main symbol of Greek coffee. Kopi Luwak, made from beans that have passed through the digestive tract of the Asian palm civet. The enzymes are said to reduce bitterness and mellow the flavor. The beans are collected from excrement, cleaned, and roasted, selling for hundreds of dollars per pound. The idea came from Indonesian peasants during the colonial era. Today, high demand has led to cruel caged civet conditions, which animal welfare advocates criticize. Dalgona, whipped coffee that became a viral trend in early 2020. Equal parts instant coffee, sugar, and hot water are whipped into a thick foam and placed on cold milk. The name comes from Korean caramel of a similar color and texture. Actor Jung Il-woo showed the drink on TV, and it spread across TikTok within weeks, though similar recipes had long existed in India and Pakistan. Spanish Bombón. Café Bombón from Valencia consists of equal parts espresso and condensed milk in a small glass where 2 layers are visible before stirring. The condensed milk settles at the bottom as the denser liquid. The name means candy. A similar drink is popular in Malaysia and Singapore under the name Kopi Susu, but with stronger Robusta coffee. Café Touba, the most consumed drink in Senegal, sacred to the Morid Brotherhood, a Sufi order from the late 19th century. It is brewed with selim pepper, sometimes with cloves, giving a warm, spicy flavor. It is named after the holy city of Touba. It is sold by street vendors called talbe, poured from thermoses. For many, it is both a habit and a spiritual act.